understand that this is my opinion. And this ain't no spoiler, nothing. This is just me giving my honest opinion about a movie. I will never say that I am a movie okay, I love movies, but I'm not as I don't want to disrespect them, but I'm not going to call myself a Marvel nerd as much as some people. Like, I'm not as enthralled, or I'm not as, let's say, submerged in superhero lore like other people, like the escape pod. I know a lot of you guys probably seen them on TikTok, and shouts out to them. They have, if you want those two guys, I don't remember their names, but the escape pod, if you want everything sports, go or not sports, everything like superhero and stuff, and you want funny banter between two guys, go check out the escape pod. Or I know someone that's really big into comics and superhero stuff is, what's his name, King Lion or something. He's on TikTok as well. Shouts out to them. I'm never going to say or compare my comic book, compare my superhero knowledge to those guys. Those guys are on a whole nother level. Shouts out to them. I don't think I'll ever be on that level. I am just a person that I love superhero movies. I love movies in general, and I've heard a lot. I mean, when you have a blockbuster, right, that is as big as, not just as big, but as big and as anticipated as Wolverine or Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously you're going to get a lot of takes. You're going to get a lot of people that hate the movie. You get a lot of people that love the movie. That's just what comes with the territory. And I wanted to give my opinion. Again, this is no spoilers. I hate spoilers. I'm one of those people that I don't even like. I watched the first trailer, and I try my hardest to stay clear. If I know that I want to watch a movie, if I know that I'm going to be invested in watching something, I stay far away from anything about that. And that's not just movies, that's anything, like concerts. I go to a lot of concerts. And as people that know, if you go to social media, you can pretty much look up set list for the concert. You can see people recording this stuff, whether we go on Twitter, whether you go on TikTok. If you're not the first stop of the concert, you can go and see everything that the concert has to offer if you're on social media. So what I try to do is I like being surprised. I like going in there green. I like not knowing anything. And that, just like my concerts, I like that with my movies. So I will watch a trailer. I watched the first trailer. And I'm not going to watch another trailer. If I see a lot of people start talking about it, I'm going to mute the engagement on social media. I want to be as green as possible going into the movies, going into anything that I'm anticipating. And that's how it was with Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, so I say all that to say this ain't gonna be no spoilers. I'm not gonna spoil nothing for nobody. I'm just gonna give my take. Obviously, I'm a big fan of Marvel. I'm a big fan of superhero movies. One of my favorite movies of all time is The Dark Knight. I love the Avengers. I love the first Deadpool. Like, I love superhero movies. And I think because I'm not such a lore heavy fan, I'm not such a fan that the movies have to be exactly the same as the comic books or whatever. I'm not someone that is heavily critical on movies, especially when we talk about Marvel, especially when we talk about superhero movies. I know a lot of people are, and for those people, I'm not judging, but I'm not. if I go to the movie and I leave feeling good about the movie, then I like it. Uh, there's a lot of movies that people don't like that I'm like, I mean, the movie was all right. Now there are some that are just universally awful that I didn't like, but like Thor, Love and Thunder, I just didn't like the movie. I didn't like the tone of the movie. I didn't like what they did with Thor. Just wasn't for me. Ragnarok, incredible. Thor, Love and Thunder, nah. So I'm not as overly critical, but I like what I like. And Deadpool was one of those movies that, and one of those characters that, obviously it brought a different. When we talk about the superheroes and how these movies are made, yes, it wasn't with Marvel at the time, but it just felt different, when we talk about those edgy superheroes like Punisher, like Daredevil to a certain extent, and Deadpool, I'm not looking for the same level of, I don't know how to say it, maybe Marvel-esque. I'm not looking for the same level of care that a Spider-Man movie would have, or a Captain Marvel, or a Iron Man movie. So I was a little nervous under seeing that Daredevil was obviously, this was the first movie that was under the MCU umbrella. Now, the MCU umbrella has been taking a lot of hits recently, obviously, with some of the releases coming out, whether we talk about Secret War, whether we talk about Ant-Man Quantumania, whether we talk about the whole Jonathan Major situation. Marvel has been taking a hit, and they have not had the best. They haven't put their best foot forward on some of these projects. So I was a little skeptical. But I knew, because I was such a fan of Deadpool 1, and while Deadpool 2 was not anywhere near as good as Deadpool 1, but I still left the movie enjoying it, I was excited to see what Deadpool 2, or essentially Deadpool 3, or Deadpool and Wolverine was going to offer on top of that. This was also the first quote-unquote movie under the Marvel umbrella that is X-Men. And kind of like what I was talking about, Logan, the movie Logan, which is not technically a Marvel Studios project, that is one of the best superhero movies technically of all time, in my opinion. The tone of that movie, the seriousness of that movie, the way that Hugh Jackman pretty much played and concluded the character of Wolverine, I will say is almost second to none. Wolverine is not, when we talk about characters like Robert Downey Jr., even though it did just come out that he's going to play Doctor Doom, I don't know how that's going to go, but Robert Downey Jr. is an incredible actor, so we'll see how it goes. But when I think of Robert Downey Jr., even though he's an incredible actor, the first thing I think of is Iron Man. He is probably synonymous with Iron Man. It would be very difficult for me to see anybody else play Iron Man because Robert Downey Jr. pretty much adopted that character and made it his own. Same thing with Chris Hemsworth. I don't see another person playing Thor. It would be difficult. And while I may not have liked Thor Love and Thunder, I don't see anybody else playing Thor as good as him. So Hugh Jackman is pretty much synonymous with Wolverine. He's been playing it for over 20 years. X2, which also is not a Marvel movie, I don't think. X2 is one of the best superhero movies and one of the best adaptations of the X-Men we've ever seen. So I was excited, a little skeptical, but excited to see how Marvel Studios was going to approach and handle a character as edgy as Deadpool and as edgy or as iconic as Wolverine, especially seeing as though the last iteration of Wolverine we saw was dead. And with no spoilers, I can say that I thoroughly enjoyed and I loved Deadpool Wolverine. You know, I'm not one of those people that I have to pay to go see it 3-4 times. If I'll see it once, and if it's good enough, and I'll wait until it goes on streaming or whatever, I'll see it. But this movie was so good, in my opinion, that I have no problem, and I'm probably going to see it again. That's how good, as far as in the theater, that's how good this movie was. I love the chemistry that Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, obviously Wolverine and Deadpool. I love the chemistry that they had together. I love the fact that I love the when you get a Deadpool movie, of course you're gonna get cameos, and I love how they use some of the a lot of the cameos actually. This was a lot fun. See, one of the biggest reasons why I didn't enjoy Deadpool 2 as much as I enjoyed Deadpool 1 is because a lot of the jokes, in my opinion, didn't land for Deadpool 2. Like, I loved the Cable character. I loved Domino. I liked the movie Deadpool 2, but they leaned so heavily on the jokes, obviously so, because that's just how Deadpool is. They leaned so heavily on it, and a lot of the jokes didn't land, in my opinion. Well, a lot of those, I think a lot of the jokes landed perfectly in Deadpool and Wolverine. I loved this movie. I know that it's getting a lot of hate, and there's a lot of people that probably didn't like the movie. Cool. You know, I'm not here to change anybody's mind. I'm not here to sway anybody, but this movie is fun. This movie is funny. The action scenes, the callbacks to a lot of things. Now, I'm a big Marvel head. I'm a big superhero movie buff. I'm not one of those like the escape pod. If you want like real superhero, go there. But I love my superhero movies. I've probably seen all of them. Actually, the only thing that I haven't watched, which I need to watch, is She-Hulk. But I've seen pretty much everything else. Even the old movies before Marvel Cinematic Universe, like I've seen all of them. Like Daredevil with that was one of my side note. That was one of my guilty pleasure movies back in the day? Daredevil with Ben Affleck. I don't understand why the hell there was a playground scene. That was kind of weird, but I did like the movie. I even saw Catwoman with Halle Berry. That's how dedicated I am. So, I'm a big Marvel head, and this one I think was great. I understand that there's a lot hanging on the balance, or there's a lot of pressure on this movie, especially, like I said, talking about the state of which Marvel is in. But I do think that, I mean, yes, there's a lot going on in this movie. You can say that the plots and the pacing was a mess. I don't think so. I think the story was kind of a mess. It went all over the place. But I did enjoy this movie. If I was going to give it out of a 10, I'd probably say 8.5, 9 out of 10. I loved this movie. Now, again, I'm not someone that's as critical as others. Like, I loved all of the Spider-Man movies. Even, was it Far From Home? The one that had, they were in Paris. I thought that was great. That had Mysterio. I know a lot of people didn't like that. I thought it was great. But, yeah. Deadpool and the Wolverine. I loved it. Hugh Jackman was great. Ryan Reynolds was great. All the cameos was great. The fight scenes were incredible. It was funny, and that's the thing that I don't think Deadpool 2 was that funny. This one was funny. I loved everything about it. And I'm excited to see how X-Men is going to be, because X-Men 97 was also great as well. So Marvel is doing their thing with X-Men at this point. I'm excited to see with Wolverine how X-Men is going to be incorporated, as at least the live action version of X-Men is going to be incorporated in the Marvel universe. I'm excited to see moving forward how Deadpool is going to be incorporated in the Marvel universe. Is he going to be in the new Avengers? Was it the Avengers Doomsday? I'm excited, man. This movie was great. I give it an 8.59 out of 10. I don't know if that helped anybody. I just felt like giving my review. I thought it was really good. Really, really good. So, oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.